Well, the problems facing the government are immense. And Cathy, the key is that Rachel Reeves has two separate pots of money that she can draw on. You have day-to-day spending and you have investment spending. There's been lots of speculation that she's going to change the fiscal rules to help boost investment spending, but that won't help you on day-to-day spending. That's departmental spending that pays for teachers and nurses, and it has to be paid for out of taxation. What goes out has to equal what's coming in. And here's where the problem is, because you've got the manifesto pledges and public sector pay rises already adding an extra £14 billion. In order to avoid austerity, you need £16 billion. If you actually wanted to increase spending in unprotected departments like prisons and local government, you'd need £17 billion. Add that all together and you get £47 billion. Now, half of that we don't have, and we'd have to raise in taxes. And that's why you get all of that fevered speculation about capital gains tax and indeed employer national insurance.
So doesn't she have any freedom of manoeuvre on the investment side? Won't that help?
Well, that is the fiscal rule that we think the Chancellor will change in the budget. And if you change the definition of debt, you could get anywhere between £16 billion and £58 billion of extra borrowing capacity. But the warning from the IFS today was if the Chancellor pushed to the limit of that, actually there is a material risk that you would move and damage financial market confidence. Now, all of that is the economics of the budget, Cathy. This week, we've been in Norwich to go out and see the real-world impact of these choices.
All I want is for my son to be happy and have the best life he can while he can.
Just 2 years ago, Andre was walking his mum down the aisle at her wedding. But that was before he'd been diagnosed with frontal temporal dementia. It shrinks crucial parts of the brain, and now Andre needs around-the-clock care.
We started noticing changes in his behaviour. Andre was a lad who was always having a laugh and a joke, continuously talking, and all of that started to dwindle. We've now just got the noises that you hear him make. So he's just lost all ability, all awareness.
Come down.
Sam says she's had to fight to get help from the local authority.
Here he is. Here's Bushy.
They rely on help from a day centre Andre's grown to love, and they'd like occasional respite. But the cost of transport to the day centre means the council won't pay for everything.
We've just asked for one weekend a month and been told no.
The council want Andre to change his day centre to cut his taxi bill. How important is the day centre for Andre?
His friends that he grew up with, he's lost a lot of them because they can't deal with how he's changed. This day centre is like Andre's social life. He's made friends. He didn't ask to get dementia at such a young age. So why should he have to suffer because of his illness?
And it's all a bit shocking for your family to be in this situation.
I worry every single day that I wouldn't be able to cope, and I don't want my son to go into a home. He shouldn't have to be put into a home to alleviate costs.
Do you feel like local government or the people in Westminster, do they care enough?
Feels like they've abandoned us, yes. They don't see that behind every single figure they've got is a family who wants the best for everyone.
This is where the council chamber is.
Kay Mason-Billig, who runs Norfolk Council, says they're in deficit because not enough cash is flowing from London. Sam's given up work to care full-time for Andre, and she's looking to you, to the local authority, to support her in delivering that care. Why is that so difficult?
It's difficult because we just don't have the funding. Unfortunately, we only have so much money.
Has it always been this hard?
It's always been hard, but I don't think I've ever known it this hard. The money that comes from central government is never enough to keep pace with demand. If we raise council tax, that's hitting people in their pockets. We've seen enough problems recently, cost of living crisis, the cost of everything has gone up.
But presumably if the cost of service has gone up, the cost of taxation should go up too.
Well, yes, but not necessarily being funded by local people. We spend 70% of our budget here at county on only 5% of our population.
Social care costs are crippling councils all over the country, and while there's a growing anticipation there's a shift in the path of government spending, today the IFS warned the Chancellor would have to find an extra £30 billion not to return to austerity, and to actually increase spending on unprotected departments like local government, which funds social care, would cost an extra £47 billion. That means raising an extra £25 billion in taxation, more than Gordon Brown's budget and more than George Osborne's raid in 2010.
That is good shape pillow, like that. Yeah, like that.
Down the road from the council at Norwich City College, students are learning the frontline skills of social care.
Bring him out over. Yeah.
It's these students we need to plug the skills gap in the sector. But further education colleges have also been at the sharp end of budget cuts.
We have some really difficult choices to make around what we spend our money on due to the way that we funded. We have had a deficit budget which has been unavoidable, and we're very busy trying to get our way out of that, but that's been brought about by the years of sort of funding squeeze that we've had.
The IFS says the government will have to find £400 million just to keep FE funding at current levels. And colleges say staff are leaving because there's a massive £9,000 gap between teachers' pay and FE colleges. For those in Norwich, the fabric of public services are already stretched thin. It's the same picture across the country, with little left to cut in unprotected departments like prisons, FE and local government, which have already been hollowed out.
This budget is going to be far more important than your average budget. Tax rises are definitely coming down the line. Even if this government did nothing, there are tax rises in the pipeline that haven't come into effect yet. There were tax rises in the Labour manifesto, and Rachel Reeves has signalled that she might have to go further. So I think we should absolutely expect tax rises in the budget. The only question is, how many?
The IFS points to years of squeezed budgets, inflation and a pandemic that have rippled through our public realm. After so much upheaval, the electorate want a budget that finally shines a little sun.